RGPF assures that operations will continue as normal, even in the face of high number of positive COVID cases within the force. Details to this story and more in the National Report. Details to the news for Monday, August 30th. I am Abigail McIntyre. The Royal Grenada Police Force says despite being significantly impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic, it is still in a position to efficiently execute its duties with no compromise on the quality of the service delivered to the public. During a press conference on Monday, Commissioner of Police Edwin Martin said 18 members of the force have tested positive for COVID-19, a significant number since the onset of the pandemic. Most of them are stationed at the Central Division. The officers, none of whom are traffic wardens, are at home isolating, while special arrangements have been made for officers to be accommodated where the home environment may not be the most suitable. To ensure continued quality of service, Commissioner Martin says they are drawing on resources from other departments.
We have made significant adjustments, including our own protocols within the stations and outside of the station. And we have been insisting on officers in the execution of their duties in the public that there should be no compromise in the adherence of protocols on their personal conduct. As a matter of fact, in our crime brief this morning, I indicated to our commanders to please try to adopt a zero tolerance of compliance within the stations, because we understand officers live in close quarters, and we understand the effectiveness based on scientific advice of the effectiveness of wearing your mask and complying with the protocols to avoid any spread of the virus within our respective compound.
Commissioner Martin says contact tracing efforts are continuing with a view to isolating anyone with whom the officers may have come in contact. He gave details as to the extent of their testing in the various divisions.
When we did the testing at police headquarters, we broadened the test from the actual clerical area where the matter was concerned and broadened it to the other persons involved in ICT, stores and service and support areas as well, to have them tested as well within the capacity. Some of those results are back, not all, and all have been negative. We have also conducted testing with individuals from the 2 cases that we have out of the Eastern Division, and the tests we conducted, I think about 5 tests in those regards. 1 came back positive. We have done tests as well with some of the persons out of the cases we had in CRD, and there were 2 cases in CRD. 1 came back positive. We do not have any cases in Carriacou with police officers, and the majority of our cases currently is at the Central Division, which I think is 7 at the moment.
The government of Grenada is embarking on a series of virtual consultations with key stakeholders as part of efforts to drive greater collaboration in the fight against COVID-19. The consultations will discuss measures to tackle the current spike in COVID-19 cases with a view to protecting lives and safeguarding livelihoods. The business community is regarded as a critical partner in the overall development of the country, and as such, one of the consultations will be held with this sector. Spearheaded by the Ministry of Finance, this virtual consultation session is scheduled for Thursday, September 2nd at 2 p.m. The deadline for registration will be 10 a.m. on the day of the consultation. Registered participants will subsequently receive the link to participate in the discussions. The other consultations will target members of the religious community and representatives of the various trade unions representing workers across the country. The government of Grenada is encouraging as many stakeholders as possible to participate in the discussions to help the country navigate through the challenges presented by the pandemic. Close to 9,000 Grenadians will benefit directly, and as many as 10,000 will benefit indirectly under another COVID economic stimulus package, which will be launched by government on Wednesday. The $36 million package will be funded through the Caribbean Development Bank under the Inter-American Development Bank Global Loan Program and the Government of Grenada. During a recent address to the nation, Prime Minister Dr. The Right Honorable Keith Mitchell announced that beneficiaries will receive support ranging from one-off payments to monthly transfers for up to 6 months based on the category of eligibility. They include persons in the cultural sector whose livelihood depends almost exclusively on cultural activities, farmers, agro-processors, caterers, operators of entertainment centers, and former cruise ship workers, among others. The launch on Wednesday will also see the reopening of the COVID Economic Support Secretariat, which is the central location responsible for the implementation and coordination of all the components of the stimulus package. GIS spoke with Chanel Andrews, Strategic Program Manager with the Inland Revenue Division.
It will be broadcast live where listeners and viewers will learn about the different components of the COVID Economic Support Program 2.0, and presentations will be made on the various components explaining how both individuals and businesses can benefit under the program, and all other relevant information as it pertains to the application process, location of the office, and criteria for applying for qualifying under the various components.
Without divulging too much information, Ms. Andrews says this package will be different from the first.
This package is a little broader than the first one, since it is in response to the economic situations and conditions that is currently being experienced as a result of the COVID pandemic in the state of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. And the stimulus package is open for residents and businesses located in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique.
Wednesday's virtual launch takes place at 10 a.m. and will be broadcast live on GIS Channel 22, as well as the GIS Facebook page and YouTube channel. This is the National Report. More news after the break. This is a message from the Ministry of Health. If you or a family member suspect that you may have contracted COVID-19 and are displaying symptoms, please immediately self-isolate at home. This means that you must also avoid all contact with other members of your household. Do not visit hospitals or health centers, as this creates the potential for further spread of the virus, and it puts additional persons at risk when you come into contact with them. Your best course of action is to call the COVID-19 hotline at 458-4787 or 538-4787, or contact your nearest health center or medical station. Once your information has been received, health officials will come to you. Help prevent the spread of COVID-19. This has been a message from the Ministry of Health. Welcome back. With the rise in COVID-19 cases in the country and among members of the Royal Grenada Police Force, its top cop is calling on officers to get vaccinated, as this is their best shot in protecting themselves and the public. Commissioner of Police Edwin Martin, in a news briefing on Monday, noted that the role of the RGPF is critical as the country navigates its way through this pandemic. As frontline workers, he believes his rank and file must do all they can to protect themselves, each other, and the nation.
The fact that the force is now impacted with having positive cases is testimony of the fact that we all need the best possible protection. And I do fundamentally believe that vaccination is the best possible protection, and in addition to us having the protocols.
The rate of vaccination within the force is just over 300. Commissioner Martin says,
certainly unsatisfactory will be an understatement, But we continue to work with our officers, encourage them, provide guidance to them, briefing where is appropriate, to push them in the direction of being vaccinated. We encourage persons that even if, for whatever reason, you have not taken the vaccine, certainly the protocols must be significantly increased. Because whether you are vaccinated or not, we are frontline workers, and we do have an expectation to deliver to ensure the safety and security of this country. And so in that context, it is pivotal that the force remains fit, and it is pivotal that the force do not be negatively impacted by an overwhelming number of those cases.
Grenada now has available 2 choices for COVID-19 vaccine, AstraZeneca and Pfizer. This is administered free of cost to anyone willing to be vaccinated.
The best defense, in my mind, is for us to take the vaccine. And so those of us who do not have any challenges with this, I really want to encourage us to please get vaccinated and get vaccinated now.
People who do not have the requisite permission to be outside after the 9 o'clock curfew run the risk of being slapped with a fine of $550 EC. That warning from Mr. John Mitchell, Assistant Commissioner of Police with responsibility for operations, during a press conference hosted by the Royal Grenada Police Force on Monday. Mitchell also appealed for people not to abuse the privilege of the passes, which must be used specifically for work purposes.
A number of vehicle checkpoints are set up, and they will be stopping persons who are coming to their points, vehicle checkpoints, beyond the hours of 9 o'clock. And if you do not have the requisite permission to do so, then it is highly likely that you'll be fined. And that fine is absolutely $550. You do not want to be paying this at this point in time. So we want to encourage persons, please, follow the regulations, follow the procedures that are set out in the regulations to avoid yourself from being adversely affected.
That story brings us to the end of the National Report for today, Monday, August 30th, 2021. Recapping the top story, RGPF assures that operations will continue as normal, even in the face of high number of positive COVID cases within the force. On behalf of the entire news team, I am Abigail McIntyre. Thank you for joining us.